Ooh. Hello, Crystal Palace. Welcome to the Upper Norwood Library Hub live lunch. This is intended as a bit of fun, a positive break from work, from the current situation, and a way of keeping connected with the local community. So our guest today is Noreen Meehan, who is a local resident and the director of Crystal Palace Festival. Noreen, thank you so much for joining us. It's lovely to have you.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about the festival and where it came from?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Eleanor, for having me on. I really appreciate the invitation, and thank you for all the work everyone's doing at the library as well to keep us entertained and engaged in our community. It's really great. So the festival was started by local traders actually in 2006, and Croydon Town Centre manager. And it was very much based in High Street at that time. And then I got involved in 2011. I come from a corporate event management background, and I met Andy from Bambino, and he invited me to get involved, and we thought it would be a great idea to have a park event, and it kind of ran away with itself. So that the idea really from that was to make it more accessible for families to go to the festival, because before it was mainly in pubs and places like that. And then so 2011 we had our first park event, which was free in Westow Park. And it happened the weekend after the riots in Croydon and across London. So it was pretty serious time as well, actually. And we didn't actually know whether we'd be able to go ahead until the Wednesday beforehand. But then the police said, yes, you can go ahead, and we think it will be good for the community. And I think that really set the template and the kind of the feeling of it being a community thing from then on out. Even though it had always been part of the community, it did feel like that kind of set our focus. And we grew and grew. We've taken in the High Street again. We've moved over to Crystal Palace Park. We have 3 different physical elements to the festival now, which is a free park event. We also have Festival Week, which is an invitation to all of the community to get involved, to put on their own arts and cultural events. And then we've also added in a high street element last year at the front of Sainsbury's. But the thing that we also do is we also fundraise to create some outreach projects. And the idea behind these projects is that we bring the festival to people and places that it normally wouldn't reach, and people who wouldn't necessarily engage with the festival and get to engage with it in some way, and to have a kind of creative opportunity. So we've grown and grown. We moved from Westow Park in 2015 because we outgrew it. It became unsafe. In fact, we had a beautiful sunny day and it was really busy, and we thought, wow, we've got to move. So we took a year off in 2016, and then we moved to Crystal Palace Park, and we did 2 larger events there in 2017 and 2018. But it became very clear that really, in reality, they're extremely expensive to do. And as an independent organisation with no funding underpinning us from local authorities and from other investors and people like that, it's very risky to do these types of events with, you're leaving yourself open to bad weather, basically. So in 2019, the Free Park event became a smaller event again, quite similar to the Westow Park one. But we'd like to build out things like the High Street and to do more outreach projects going forward as well. So, and that's where we are at the moment, which is 2020. We're not quite sure what's going to happen this year, but we're looking at lots of different options.
Brilliant. I didn't realise that it had been going for so long. So actually next year is sort of an anniversary year, isn't it? Then it's 15 years since the first one and 10 years since you've been involved, I guess.
Yes, that's right. It is. It's been going quite a long time, and it's gone through just all these different phases and different variations. And we react to the environment and to what people want, and to try and include as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And tell us a bit about what kind of organisation it is, because I imagine that's shifted through the years as well.
Yeah, sure. So as I said, it started initially with a group of traders and a Croydon town centre manager, and it was a kind of voluntary, very kind of loose voluntary group, I guess. Then we then became, when I got involved, we did put a constitutional kind of format on it, because you need to do that if you want to apply for funding. So we
Right.
became a constituted voluntary group, then a community group.
Mm.
And then we became a community interest company, which is a kick. And again, that allows you to apply for more funding, and it gives you a kind of different, it gives you a different kind of standing in the eyes of funders and people like that. And now we're a registered charity, and our official name, our organizational name, is the Great Northwood Collective.
Oh,
So
wow.
that is the name of the organization that delivers the festival, and obviously everyone knows this as the Crystal Palace Festival.
Mm.
But being a registered charity is quite a big deal. It's quite hard to become one, but again, it opens doors in terms of things like funding and donations, and also you get some benefits from being a charity. So it does help with all of those things in terms of particularly funding.
And actually, so that leads us quite nicely on to how is everything funded?
Blood, sweat, and tears, I think, is the answer to that. But it's a fundraising mountain that we have to climb every year. And just to give you an idea, in terms of the 2017 and the 2018 festivals, where the park event was free, but was quite large, in 2018, the cost for the whole of our activities was £250,000.
Wow.
So that wasn't really sustainable. So hence the reduction of the size of the free park event. But we look at various different areas for funding. I come from a corporate event background, and I started with sponsorship and advertising,
Mhm.
and that is still a huge part of our funding. Local businesses fund the festival to a great extent. They sign up to sponsorship deals, and they take out adverts in the What's On guide. They also pay for listings as well.
Mhm.
Then we also have donors like the Queen's Hotel owners, the London Hotel Group, are actually signed up to a 3-year charity partnership with us, which is £10,000 per year, which is amazing. We've also had charity partners like George Irving from the Fun Fair, and the Gypsy Hill Brewing Company have also been a charity partner of ours. We also raise funds from the food concessions and the bars and the non-food concessions at the park event. We apply for grants from the Arts Council, the Heritage Lottery Fund, Film London, all sorts of people. Local authorities do give us small grants, but they are not a major funder of the festival, which I know is something that a lot of people possibly think is where we get the funding from. I know some things like the Lambeth Country Show is underwritten by Lambeth Council. It's in essence owned by Lambeth Council, but we are an independent charity. So every year we raise the money ourselves. And then we also put on things like fundraising events like Bake Off. And we shake buckets at people. So we raise a bit of money from personal donations, but that's not a huge part of our funding. So, it's a real jigsaw puzzle that we have to put together every year.
Mm. And there's obviously a huge number of people involved in doing it, and I know you are the director of it, but who else is involved in delivering the festival?
So we are a volunteer run and led, really, in essence. I'm the only paid member of staff for most of the year. That kind of waxes and wanes. Sometimes I'm full time, sometimes I'm part time, depending on where we are in terms of planning. And we have a few other people who join us as freelancers. Danny, our amazing production and site manager. And we've had a few different people join us over the years. And again, it depends on our resources and the size of what we're doing. But the mainstay of what in terms of resources for the festival are volunteers. Our management committee and board are all volunteers, the amazing people who help me manage the organisation and set the direction of travel as well for it. And then we have up to 200 people every year join us as volunteers, and they can be involved in the delivery of the festival as well. So they can be on our marketing team, our fundraising team, our volunteer recruitment and management team, operations, all elements of the festival. Some volunteers get involved in programming as well. We've had volunteers program our spoken word tent. So it is all about the volunteers. We are nothing without them. So, and then obviously lots of people join us during festival week to volunteer as stewards and traffic marshals and litter pickers and all sorts of things. So you can do as little or as much as you want to really with the festival. You know, we've got the kind of micro volunteering opportunities, but if you actually really want to get involved and do something different, and you know, that's how I got involved. I was a volunteer for many years. I didn't start getting paid as festival director until 2014, I think, and then I was part time for a couple of days during about 3 months of that year. So I came from the volunteer background as well, and it is the heart and soul of what we do.
Mm. And I think you've touched on the park event, and I suspect that most people local to Crystal Palace, that's the bit that they really know about. So, but I know there's far more things that you do, and you've touched on them a little bit. Can you tell us a bit more about the other projects?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, the reason we do what we do is because we believe in the arts, and we believe in the power of creativity and the power of community. There are two planks of belief, if you like, that underpin why we do all of this work for the community. Because bringing people together in a creative way is really powerful. So to that end, the grants that we apply for, actually none of those grants pay entirely for the stage or the sound. They might give a a little bit of cost towards those, but actually those grants are focused on reaching out to people who may not get the opportunity to be creative or to be involved in something like a festival. So for instance, the LMP, the wonderful London Mozart Players, are one of our partners in each festival, and we've done lots of different things with them. And for instance, they go to local care homes during festival week and perform concerts for the residents there. So the idea is that we bring a bit of the festival to people who, you know, really wouldn't be able to go to even the high street, let alone a park event. They've also done free concerts for families at places like Bernardo's and the Crystal Palace Farm, with the idea again that people can access the arts and they can come and hear a world-class orchestra for free. We've had opera singers singing in front of Sainsbury's, you know, so people who may never go to opera or, you know, have anything to do with opera can walk by and hear opera in their high street and hear how wonderful it is. We've had things like dance projects. We work with a company called Grounded Movement, who are based in West Norwood, and who were part of the creative team for the opening ceremony of the Olympics. So they taught all these amazing volunteers to Lindy Hop, can you believe it? So they're incredible people, and they are so skilled at working with people who have all different, you know, levels of competence in dance, from, you know, nothing like me to people who have some experience, and they can bring them together. You know, so we worked with them on a project where they worked with a group of young people from a local school, and they worked with a group of elders from a charity over in Thornton Heath, and they created their own promenade performance, which was performed along with the Pengista drummers, the amazing, lovely drummers from Penge, at the 2018 festival, which was an incredible piece of performance and participation. So that's to just give you a little flavour. There's a lot more, obviously, but then there's also Festival Week, which is all about inviting our community to get involved. We've created a marketing platform over these years, you know, which reaches out to a lot of people, and those people can then take advantage of that and advertise what they're doing, whether that's an individual artist, somebody who wants to put on their own artistic event. Joe Dugan does an amazing poetry night. Overground Express is a good example of that. And then we've also got, like, in a local pubs, you know, shopkeepers, anybody who wants to put on a cultural event, they can do during festival week, and they can take advantage of that marketing platform and reach new audiences. So, you know, there's a whole range of things going on there outside of this park event. But I think what we also managed to do is we also managed to give people a great opportunity to perform. So somewhere like something like that dance project, where you had older people and younger people coming together who never would have performed in front of thousands of people, but they got the opportunity to do that. So that's the outputs, if you like, from these types of projects are usually about performing at the festival.
Yeah.
So that kind of give you a flavour of the type of work that we're doing all year round.
I know that we're not a particularly sort of vulnerable group or anything, but I think the highlight for Palace A Cappella last year was backing the rap artist Jay Snags, which is just something that I never in a million years expected to be leading a choir, backing a rap artist. That was just like, I think possibly up there in the top of my list of bizarre and unusual things that I would never have thought I would do. So
Yeah, that was amazing. And, that was surprising to me. I didn't know it was happening either. But that was great. It was like this wonderful collaboration between a young artist and, a group of, people who come together in a choir. I mean, that's magic,
yeah.
when people can get to do that and they meet each other, they learn from each other, they learn a new genre. I mean, we've got a project this year which is a bit like that. So again, with the London Mozart Players, we've got funding for a project where the London Mozart Players and Silverstone, who is an Afrobeat artist from New Addington in Croydon, who played at last year's festival, who's an amazing guy, fantastic artist. He's been working with the LMP for some time, and they are going to go to a school. We've actually identified Harris Academy, Crystal Palace, down in Penge as the school, and they would do an education day where classical will meet Afrobeat, and those children will learn about performance. They'll learn about how those two things happen. They'll do a concert together at the end of the day at the school, and then when we have the festival, they will come and perform at the festival as well. So there's so much going on there. There's like cross collaboration from two different genres. There's younger people, there's older people working together. There's the opportunity for young people to come and perform in front of thousands of people. There's a huge amount of incredible outcomes and benefits for people in those types of projects. So your one was amazing. I loved that. That was just brilliant.
But it was incredible for us as well. I
Yeah.
think it's just such an amazing, as you say, sort of cross community, cross genre, cross everything events. Absolutely brilliant. So we can't wait to see. I know you're planning to do something this year, and obviously everyone is in limbo at the moment, but we can't wait to see what actually happens this year.
Yeah, I mean it's strange times, and we're planning lots of different things. We're specking them out. We're looking at what we can do in the meantime, and we're applying for funding. We're still here planning and plotting. We just don't know what's going to happen yet, and I think that's the case for many people. And the event world has been decimated by this, and we kind of straddle charity, arts organization, and events. And it's a very hard world for artists and events. It's a very hard world for many people, but so many people have seen their employment and their incomes just disappear completely. And the people in the cultural world, while we're all at home relying on them to entertain us, a lot of them have absolutely no income at all, and they often fall through the plugs, unfortunately, of all the different schemes that are out there as well. And people are struggling generally, but many people are struggling from many walks of life. But we hope to support the cultural and the artistic world as we go along in all of this.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming to have a chat with us.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a real pleasure.
It's lovely actually to know more about the background. There's a lot of things you've said today that I didn't know. It's brilliant to find out about it.
Thank you.
I'm going to pass over to my co-host Rin at this point. She is going to let you all know the latest update on the Library Hub live streaming. There is a huge amount of different events, and Noreen, as you were saying, sort of lots and lots of entertainment things being streamed out through the hub. So it's absolutely not closed down at the moment. So Rin, give us an update on the live streaming program.
Hello, hello, hello. This always happens. Like, you guys are talking away, and then I open my mouth, and I'm just all coughs. That's what you get for being silent. So this week we are putting in the Talkie Okie event that we had last week. Maybe 2 weeks ago. Now this is like a round table discussion. Everyone in the community is allowed to join in. It's 2 hours, and basically the chat goes wherever people take it. I think the last one we did, people weren't sure what the actual event was. So I'm going to start reposting the event that we had, the last event, so you can see that it's a roundtable discussion. Joe Duggan joined us last time, and it's been put on by two fellas in East London, and it's free for us to have, and normally it's something they charge for. So I'm trying to get more of our community in amongst it, and we can talk about local issues, or you can talk about anything you like. It's called the Talkioki, and it'll be at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. Also on Wednesday we have the open mic night at night in the evening at about 9 o'clock. You can send me either a video of you playing or a link to a live performance. So if you've been part of the Crystal Palace Lockdown Festival, Lockdown Live, sorry, and you want, you can just link me into the video you used on there, and I could restream that onto our open mic night. Or if you had anything at all, you could just send it over, and we'll have our nice open mic night. I think that's about all I have to add at the moment there. Yeah, I will pass back to Eleanor.
Brilliant. I'm going to do my usual adding in about singing, because that's what I run. So we have a half-hour singing break session every morning at 11 a.m. And we also have what we're calling South London Home Choir, Tuesday evenings at 7, when we'd normally have our Palace a cappella choir rehearsals. We've teamed up with Craggy Community Choir in Ladywell, and anybody else who wants to join us is absolutely welcome. We're working on a few different songs that we might eventually try and record in a sort of individual isolation and put together. So if you fancy a bit of singing, we'd love to see you there, and that's all streamed through the Library Hub page. I think that's it from us for today. We hope to see you tomorrow for the Library Live lunch. Have a good day.
Bye. Bye.